What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of UOT Radio Podcast. It's your girl, Queen Kelly, and you know what it is. It's about us talking about the conscious issues that affect Ugandans online, abroad, Uganda A, Uganda B, Uganda to the Z. So today I do have a special guest, and he is
Ibrahim Solo.
Come on, give me some more energy.
First of all, I'm very surprised by your intro. It's like, oh, this is Queen Kelly. For real, for real? It feels like a whole different person. But yo, what's up? My name's Ibrahim Solo. Aye. And we're here to bring you a new topic, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Touching on to music, consciousness. Let's see where it goes. Yeah.
Okay, so first I want to talk about Queen Kelly. Yeah? I want to know, man, like, what's new about it? The people need to know.
I don't know where you've seen Queen Kelly from, but I think the person I know is Rachel. So it's like two different personas right now. But I feel like Queen Kelly is much more out there, like the real, as if not masked by work and stressed out, you know. This is the person I've seen on the dance floor.
Okay, that was too much information. But we are going to go from there to get it out, right? So it's a pleasure having Ibrahim Solo. Yes, this is my alter ego, if I may say. I like to talk about
alter ego.
An alter ego. Let's see. Google Dictionary. Okay, I'd say alter ego is like that other personality that comes out. It's still a part of you, but it takes special occasions, you know, for it to be brought out. So me creating and speaking up about some things that I feel the society needs to be talk about is how I get that other side out. Work is work, man. Everybody is a different person when they're in the office, but once it clocks 6 p.m. on Friday, everybody's someone else. Yeah. Man, so today we're going to talk about a little bit of, the conscious music, you know. First of all, what is conscious music to you?
Well, conscious music to me, actually, we had like a backstage run on this. I had a moment to think about this, but I didn't use it wisely.
Yeah.
But I feel like conscious music is music that basically touches subjects that create awareness, sort of. And it could also be about love, it could be about sex, but it's not inciting anything derogatory, first and foremost. And it's shedding light on issues that aren't maybe commonly talked about. Yeah, or that actually what most people would consider boring, or what most people would not want to get into because they have no control over. There's many ways you can look at it, especially coming from a society like ours. Yeah.
Okay, I actually totally agree with what you said. For example, I personally love certain artists. Like, there's most of the music I love usually go with a message. Because the first time I think I fell in love with like conscious music was Lauryn Hill. Oh my God, yes. I love how she embodies body positivity in her messages. Because I remember there's this one, girl, you know you have to watch out. Some guys are only about, like, back then.
When you see that kind of like, sorry to cut you off, but that kind of consciousness about body consciousness, right?
Yeah.
So someone would think consciousness would only be about like social issues and stuff like that. But an approach like that is really dope because it's not like generally talking about sex, but you know,
You get the message.
yeah, you get the message.
And I was a kid by then and I did not know what sex was. Honestly, when I asked my brothers, they were like, yeah, they were talking about sumbusa. So at school, man, make sure guys don't touch your sumbusa. I'm like, hey, and man, I love my food. You don't touch my food. So when my brothers told me that, I was like, yeah, for sure, man. Like, this is what I'm about. And I'm going to put this, part of everything that I do. And happy to say I have still stood by most of that part.
You still don't make it to have your samosa.
Yes.
Well, samosas aside, coming from someone who also likes samosa, let's not get distracted by this tasty food. But generally, it's an interesting approach to, like, I'm a late Lauryn Hill fan. Not because I didn't know the music. The music was around me.
Yeah.
But I remember I only listened to it the first time, her album, right? Like the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I only listened to it when I was going for my master's, which was like now 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it on the plane. I was like, oh, everyone's talking about Lauryn Hill. What's the big deal? You know? So I listened, and you know the thing about her album, like the interludes and everything is like classes in session. You get it? So her approach of, let me put this out there. She's talking about relationships. She's talking about love. She's talking about society. But that approach is not one you often see on mainstream lately. And it's one I generally try to follow, but the road is very slippery.
I remember back then, everything that came out, most of the artists, most of the music was, about the message. It was about uplifting Black communities, for the African Americans. Then even in Africa, we had the apartheid. So you had a lot of, this Amapiano wasn't that late back then, Back then it was I'm coming home to Africa kind of vibe. And it brought out, I think most of us who grew up in that generation really got to appreciate music for what it is. It's more than just the beats, more than you breaking your back over sumbusa. It was something beautiful, and I honestly miss it in this generation, though I still love the whole break off your back. It's like that message was something, to always look forward to. And I loved the way they did it in a way that it wasn't as boring, like, it was entertaining. It was more of like, be careful about who you meet out there, enjoy the moment as well, rather than now, I'm gonna do I'm gonna do things to people. It's different now. So one of the reasons why I actually wanted you, Ibra, on this episode to talk about this is because, yes, you kind of have the same vibe in some of your music. And I want to know what draws you to that in a generation like ours that is, hell-bent on making the next dance hall track. Anything anyone can dance to. Like, why do you still choose conscious music?
Why do I still choose conscious music? I think deep down, to be honest with you, one of the things that I actively think about when I'm making music is that, okay, now I come from a family where I'm the only musician, and I'm learned, but I still have this inclination to make music, and I don't want to kill it, right? So, and I don't want to misrepresent the image of like my mother, my father, and how they've brought me up as an individual, and I also don't want to misrepresent myself, who I am as a person. I often say, or I often tell myself, it's a good thing that let me say Fikfi Maker. I like Fikfi Maker. It's a dope thing that he's naturally inclined to making music like that, right? That the music that he makes, I like the music, right? But I guess it comes from his background or whatever his inspirations were. So I guess our inspirations and train of thoughts are different. And not to say that his is the wrong way to think or mine is the right way to think. They're just different schools of what thought. And I've been actively noticing that music has really inspired this generation so much. There's so many musicians. There's so many people who, if they don't have music, their life, would end. So it's a good thing that people still have. There's still music out there that they can run to, and find a safe haven. So that means that job, like people are still doing their job. In not wanting to misrepresent myself, I've been drawn to music like that. And I also find myself in positions where, maybe I'll give you an example of like one of my songs that maybe people generally know. Yeah. One of the songs that came to me a long time back was a song called Nature Chain. And I've noticed I'm mostly about writing songs that are, I read a lot of self-help books.
Oh, we did not notice at all.
I read a lot of self-help books. I read a lot of books that maybe inspire me. So the lyrics to that song are like, when you're down and broken, keep moving, nature chain, right? So it's, and I notice every time I pick up a pen, it's the direction that I go, and it comes from a place of, you know what, I've been doing this so much, or maybe I've been going through this, and maybe I'm indirectly telling myself these things, but I find that it's a message that comes out of me as a person. And a lot of my friends have told me, bruh, you should try to write a dance track, what? And I have tried. But it's like, I guess when something doesn't come natural to you, people won't receive it that way. Yeah. It won't have that element to it. So people will listen to my music the way it is and be like, this is really good music, but they can't dance to it. Right? And yet they'll listen to maybe Chameleon or whoever it is, or Joe Boy, and those people are inclined to making music like that, and it comes natural to them. That's why when we listen to them, you vibe with it. It has a natural element to it. And because we are groovy human beings, yeah. When we listen to music that has that kind of element to it, you're also you're drawn to it, right? So for me, I think that's where I come from in that regard. Yeah. Okay.
Personally, I think it has a bit to do with the current generation because I was born in the 90s. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I was born in the 90s. So during that time, I got to experience all kinds of conscious music, from the Lingalas to, the Lauryn Hills. And then I've seen how it has transitioned into this whole all about dancehall vibe. And I realized the current generation probably isn't as in touch with their feelings as they used to. Everybody's trying to be the hard guy now. Everybody's trying to show that, hey, you know what, I can't get the most girls, I can't get the most men. Everything is materialistic right now. So if you go out, you just want to forget about that. Yeah. And yet back then it was about, meeting up with old friends, enjoying all those memories, so creating new memories. Now it's about one night stands and getting how many bottles of spirits can you drown in in 1 minute. So yeah, I totally understand, and it's okay, guys, man. If that's your life, it's okay. Just take it one day at a time. We're not here to judge, we're just here having a conversation. So, like you said, in some of your music, if not all, is a lot of conscious music, and I personally love Nature Chen. I remember the first time someone got to show it to me that, hey, there's a guy who submitted a song for Pearl of Africa Star Search. I'm like, hey, let me check it out, because for some reason, some human beings out there value my opinion on music. I do not know why, but yeah. So they show me the song, and I'm like, oh, hey guys, man, I feel like this is it. This is the next generation. This is like, there's something that I call the it element. Yeah, like there's something that you just feel like this is it. It's you can't compare it with anything. It's just beautiful music. And I thought you as Ibra, you had it even before you joined the competition. So whatever is happening right now, guys, man, as we saw it first, and you better jump on the train, by the way. So with more music that you keep on releasing, I see your socials some of the time, some of the songs that you're singing, and I realize I really wish this current generation, the Gen Z, just got the time to just listen to it. Because even when you go on YouTube, you find that a lot of the music that is trending right now, I'd say in the States or in the UK, it's a lot of that conscious music, which means it's making a comeback. Not like it ever left, but it's becoming a trend right now. And I'd love a lot of the youth out there to jump on it, because one, you educate yourself with some of the songs, and then next is you get to express some of the feelings that you feel maybe your friends would make fun out of you and stuff like that. So I'd love for more of it to come out. So guys, do check out Ibrahim Solo, Balunya's alter ego. Okay, so we really talked for a while. You're also a producer, right? So as an artist and a producer, let's say as an artist, yes, you look at it, you're in touch with what you're feeling, what you're, things you're experiencing to inspire you to create your music. But now, as a producer, let's say if you're creating music for someone else, what do you consider?
What do I consider? I think for me, I guess maybe for all other producers, I'd like to believe it's mostly the feeling. Because when someone comes to you, they want you to interpret their song, and songs are always feelings, generally. So I feel like when someone fails, them personally, they fail to interpret how they're feeling, you can't help them do that. You could guide them, but if they fail to bring that out, they won't have a good song. I feel like, so when you have someone that has interpreted themselves well, and then you also get it well and translate it, it's your job to make that happen, kind of. Because when someone comes, I've been working a lot with like poets. Those are the people that I've started with. So, and poetry, at its core, music is really poetry. So trying to put poetry that's not in a certain kind of rhythm or flow, but or like, music is very structured. That's the difference between it and what they would say poetry. If we were to differentiate them, right? Because sometimes you can't sing poetry, but yet sometimes you can sing it, depending on how the person has written it. So I think it's a blessing for me to have started from poetry as a foundation, because trying to create an ambience for a poem has kind of made it easier for me to interpret music when people come to me. It's just that my skill right now, because I'm an amateur producer, so to speak, is not so. I'm not so well versed with like mixing knowledge or mastering knowledge, but I understand how to interpret music. At least I have a knack for that. So depending on how someone comes to me, and because I listen to a lot of music, it's easy for me to like put that into the computer at least, or produce it Yeah. And I'm definitely more inclined to conscious music also. You know? It doesn't feel heavy on me. But if someone comes and maybe they're cussing so much, or maybe it's just really about sex, like straight up in your face kind of sex, it makes me feel uncomfortable as a person, and sometimes it makes it hard to work. You know, but I guess that's just me. Yeah. So the way I interpret it is based off of feelings overall. Yeah, how does this make me feel, and how do I interpret that, and how do I create that so that someone else can receive it the same way the artist intends for it to be received. Yeah.
I actually like that. The first time I also got to interact with Ugandan music was around poets. I was personally one of the poets growing up. Like I was a poet growing up. But you know those unique poets?
What do you mean by unique poet?
Like the type that said deforestation, deforestation, deforestation. Oh, deforestation. Yo, that was my hit back in the day. And I was so happy about it. But I'm glad that as I've grown up, the older I've grown and got to meet like real poets. I mean, if you know Jason Taro, if you know the poets.
Poet society.
Yeah, people in the poet society. If you've been to Kelele Nights, you realize there are.
Shout out to those guys.
Yo, but by the way, shout out to you guys. Those nights were interesting. You'd just be. It was the warmth of the people you were with, and then also the words from the poets kind of kept you warm.
Yeah.
Which was weird. How words cannot keep you warm, but somehow the poets in Uganda can do that to you.
You get it.
Yeah, they just get it, man. I can't even express myself better than they do, but they do get it. So if you checked out a lot of the poets, you realize we do have a little bit of conscious music in Uganda. So I want to ask you, as Ibrahim Solo, which Ugandan artists do you feel bring out this conscious music aspect?
One artist that I've always liked and I've always kind of looked up to has been Bobby Wine, and I guess also Juliana Kanyomozi. Yeah. Why I've always looked up to Bobby Wine is because I've when you just don't say fuck with something. You know,
We're in a circle.
yeah. So when you just fuck with something and you just fuck with it, right? Sometimes you don't have to have a reason. There's that when you delve deep into the whatever it is, there's always a reason, but we're always drawn to what we're drawn to for certain reasons. So Bobby Wine has always been my guy, and he has always been talking about society. He has always been talking about being a leader. He has always been talking about love and taking care of your woman, things like that. And he has obviously had his moments. He's an entertainer, and as an entertainer, you're supposed to be able to cross boundaries and and entertain people.
Yeah.
You get it? So it's interesting. Like I should say it shouldn't be a surprise where he is right now as an individual. I guess deep down it was there. You get it? And there's also other artists that do what they do, how they do it, and I appreciate how they do it. But this is just someone that I'm like my go-to person in Uganda when I know conscious music. It's always been Bobby Wine for me, and he has done it so many times. It's like he ticks that box for sure. I would like to talk about like Fela Kuti also. Like Fela Kuti has inspired so many Nigerians. There's a song I once listened to by Burna Boy. Soki.
Yes.
Soki Kimo Kebe. Yeah. I love that song. And when you listen to the message in there, you realize, oh, this guy is he's talking about the society. He's talking about how there's no power in the society. But I guess when you want your career to make financial sense, you have to try, do your best to serve people. And as an entertainer, it's a great thing that these people are gifted enough to create music that we can still vibrate in the club, because that's feel good music. The world needs feel good music, the world really needs feel good music, and I appreciate these people for doing that. So it's a dope thing that Burna Boy also still rides that wave of social consciousness music. There's a song of his that I even have a cover of, but I've never shared. It was on the album, maybe Twice as Tall. That's the one with the Chris Martin.
Yes,
that's the one. I love that song. The first time I listened to it, it blew me away. The next day I was learning it. So it's like, I appreciate the message in that song. It's a very strong message. It's a very strong message. And you see that he doesn't lose it. There's this other thing that's like, dun, 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 dun. Which song is that? Money no go do for the good firewood. Waiting man go do. Oh, da, 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 da. I love that song. And when you listen to the message, it's conscious, right? Like I can relate with it so much, right? And to be honest with you, there's not many Ugandans right now that like are tapping into me like that. Yeah, but Bobby Wine is one person that really, really stands out for me. Yeah.
Okay. I'd say also one of the artists that I'd say also does it for me would be Angelique Kidjo.
Yeah.
Oh God. The first time I heard Adolo, I was like, what is this woman singing? I didn't understand it then because I was still a kid, but I was like, there's something deeper than this. Because they'd make us dance to it in school, and the teachers just enjoyed seeing us doing row the boat kind of moves. But the older I grew and I got to, embrace what she's about, I love her culture and how she also she carries the music beyond, like even after the track stops, like she keeps embodying it. And that's something I love about artists today. So, as I was saying about Angelique Kidjo, her music does tell a message, and I feel like, yes, our generation hasn't really gotten to understand that yet as Africans. I've seen the Americans embrace it, but Africans haven't yet reached there, and I wonder why. So, yeah, tell us.
And why? I've started with because I was going to say, it's strange. I'm not an Angelique Kidjo person, but it's why we know her is because the world knows her for that. You get it? And that's something powerful, right? So in her own right, she's a leader in a way because of what she stands for and how she portrays it out to people. So that's really cool. I guess how people receive things are based off, in my perspective, maybe two things. What is being made popular in society, right? Americans have aggressive marketing. So whatever it is that they market and they put out in the world, it will sell because of their aggressive marketing. And they sell pop music. So, and now you realize that a lot of, for example, our country right now, I wouldn't say flooded because people are much more aware now, and DJs are really they really balance out Ugandan and Nigerian music. But then for a long time, our country has been flooded with Nigerian music, and you realize that these people are signed to Sony, big distributors. So, and those people know what music sells, right? And pop music sells because it's feel-good music. So that's one of the aspects, what's being sold in the market. The other thing is, I think when people get together, they get together and want to forget their troubles. So you'll find that the music people have on their phones sometimes that they listen to alone is completely different to the music that they'll listen to, in the club or when they're with their friends. So when they're with their friends, they want to listen to feel good music. So you play a song and they'll be like, man, soko jeko kayimba kako nawe mwana chichi. Don't take a mombera, And I've noticed people don't want to. There's music that usually will take you to a certain wavelength, and people want to kind of stay high. And people want to stay high because maybe they're troubled, or they're running away from certain emotions that they don't know how to deal with, or they're just troubled. You get it? So they want to listen to that feel-good music. So it's the music that they relate to. It's the music that gives them a higher elevation, because music is really very spiritual. The music is very spiritual. The way it works with the body and the mind. It can either elevate you, it can either keep you very mellow, it can either... Yeah. So you find that even rock and roll make you very aggressive. So it's generally those two things. It's not that people don't want to listen to conscious music. People will listen to it on their own sometimes. It's not something you'll generally be drawn to. And sometimes one of my friends told me sometime, was like, man, bantu bako badangira. You get, so it's like, I was like, okay, so this is a new thought, People don't want to be told, my society is poor, we need to rise up. So the perfect way to say it is like, people don't want to listen to that shit. So I mean, I guess it's about maybe trying to find a balance. I guess that's why I appreciate Burna Boy. He hasn't entirely dropped the idea of being conscious. And yes, there are a lot of artists who are still doing that. It's just that they have a hard time coming mainstream. So it's good, I guess, as an artist for you to find a middle ground. Something I'm also trying to do, to be able to entertain and still carry a firm message, to represent the times of your society, where you are, where people are, and to be able to inspire. So I guess, man, as an artist, to any artist out there, man, find a balance. Find a balance. You'll be stuck in between a rock and a hard place if you just stay in that kind of area. Yeah, those are my thoughts anyway.
Okay, this feels like a one-sided conversation, but in case you have any other opinions, you're welcome to share comments in the comments down in the comment section, or hit me up, Queen Lakeli. He's Ibrahim Solo, so just
want to go against what we're talking.
Yeah, it's okay, we can have you on the next episode, man. Like us, you're chill like that. We are that conscious about our feelings. So you were saying something that actually resonated with me. I actually also love Jenny Aiko, right? Jenny Aiko, she has this ability to just get all this sexual tension in the room and just bring it to a standstill. And then also you have people like her music. So I feel like conscious music is what we need. When you listen to Summer Walker, Lord, you'll just slap your boyfriend. Because she puts you in that state of understanding whatever emotion you're going through, and you're like, yes, I needed to feel this, and I feel like the world needs this a lot more. Fine, it's so cool. Like, you realize people who date, I'd say girls and men who love conscious music, usually have the best relationships. Honestly, I don't think usually. I don't know, and unless the world is I'm missing something considering I'm not in that space. But from my observation, I mean, I love Jenny and Big Sean, and that's like a power couple for me. Like, forget the whole, oh, we're gonna be wearing all black and come in wearing some type of skimpy thing. These guys will just show up all dressed up, and you'll just feel the energy in the room shift. And I feel like we need a lot more of that. Then there's one thing you said that really got me off. I'm actually also a rock music fan, and I think people kind of got it wrong after this guy's some guy, I've forgotten his name. But rock music has actually been, I'd say it built the foundation for conscious music. Because if you listen to most of the songs from way back, I'm sorry, I'm not that old, so I would say Cranberries. But if you listen to the Cranberries,
I don't think it's rock music. It's of like
it's like soul rock. It's still rock.
soul.
Yes, there's heavy metal.
Soul was the bed of all of this, because I feel like soul was the bed of all of this because music started to take like a different direction after enslavement, right? And this was from when, say, the slaves were singing songs of freedom, singing songs of like awareness. For me, I feel like that's the root of like conscious vibes. As if
He actually does have a point. But I'll still rock out for all the rock music fans and say we started our own hard guy, feel your emotions kind of shit. Because, I mean, if you listen to Nickelback, Hoopstack, and, you'll get to feel that and experience all those emotions. So
such a big fan of all those guys. So
P.S. I'm not his sister. I am not his sister, and I refused to be sisters on. But anyway, as we wind up this show, I love you guys for staying on and listening to the end of we're almost done, don't worry. Mr. Ibrahim Solo is gonna give us a solo performance.
Because we're talking about consciousness, I'm obviously going to do a conscious song.
As you asked.
So this song is a song I wrote for my friend's child. Yeah. And it's a song that people have been listening to and they enjoy, despite how mellow it is and what. Anyway, mwana wange ensamboneyo olusi tunumirwa emmali twatandika ensalo tonenyanga basaire bo tobabisa mu maiso ensi eno ya mbiriko Surumuka pakenkomerero Obagwaku akalwana bona bantu nga iwe baba Obagwaku yabalemye lindawe na bida kwita Tiri kuwesamani bambini kutekeka Wekalangule 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 Mutabanyi Webityo eriba Tuyonkane tukola Oluvanyuma ne tudduka Toyomesanga mama wo Tolwanyisanga tata Somanyi bye bayitamu Okusanyusa Osanga elimira mu njuba nga watoba Osanga mu mukka mwe yali aloba Osanga yalinnya ensozi okuleetera ekyekkulo n'olwekyo Tiwe banka chibumba yako mukisa mwebase chibumba yako bulamu utikide chibumba yako amagezi gakozese wegalangule 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 So wekalangule is a word in Lesoga that basically means you should work hard, you should strive in life. Like, life isn't exactly what it seems like sometimes. So one shouldn't take things out of context and maybe judge others. They should just strive to do better, be better in whatever it is that they do. So yeah, basically a message to a growing child. Chibumba yako mukisa mwebaze chibumba yako bulamu otikite chibumba yako amagezi gakozese wegalangule wegalangule.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ibrahim Solo giving you that solo performance. So where can we get your music?
And you're feeling all down like a goner, and everything you do, ngavi de me, amuka we, amuka we, amuka we, amuka we, amuka we, amuka we.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man is lost in his music.
Anyway, you can get my music pretty much everywhere, actually, except from Audio Mac. But yeah, just type in Ibrahim Solo. That's Solo, S-O-U-L, an apostrophe for the swag and an O at the end. Yeah. Thank you very much for listening in. I hope this was worthwhile. And we love you very much. That's us.
Well, I might not love you very much, but the more you subscribe, the more I love you more. Peace.